Hi guys, and welcome to Python tutorial of a calculator. Yes, it is a calculator. And why am I showing you guys this is because this is a very easy way of creating a calculator in Python. Okay, creating the buttons and so on are made easy, and that's why I decided to show it to you guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into Python development environment, and we put one of these together. So let's exit out, start a new project. There we go. Okay, let's start by first of all importing as follows. So I'm going to say from Tkinter. I want you to import it all. That makes life easy than importing Tkinter as TK. So importing it all is what I will advise you guys to do. Now the next thing is I want to create a class, and I'll just call this class calculator. Enter column there. Now let's define our function. So enter underscore underscore initialize underscore underscore, and that is going to now be self comma root. There we go. And right underneath there, I'm now going to say root. Let's just give that a name, self.root. Get it indented, and this is going to be dot root. Self.root is going to be known as root. There. And self.root, let's give it a name now. Self.root.title. I'm just going to call that calculator. There we go. Let's bang that in there. Now, I'm going to create a geometry. So I'm just going to say self.root.geometry. Then I'll define the width and the height. So let's say geometry. And that is going to be, I'm going to make it about height to be width. Let's say 615 by 680, and the coordinate I'm going to make that 400 by 100. There we go. And you can as well just make it, let's say resizable. If you don't want it to be, for the end user to be able to resize it, you can just restrict that. Width, that will be false, and the height will be false as well. There we go. All right, so now that that is taken care of, I'm going to create some frames. You don't have to, but I just want to create the frames. I'm going to call that main frame. Main frame 1. Yeah, the first mainframe, I'll call it mainframe 1. This very mainframe is going to be a child of the root itself, self.root. Okay, and let's put a border there. The border, I'm going to make that about 20. And the width. Or we can leave out the width, or we can just define that. Let's leave out the width, and I'm going to say, if that doesn't work, then I'll change it. Relief, that is going to be rigged. And I'm going to say BG, that's the background color. I'm going to make that cadet blue. There we go. Now I'm going to run that up, copy that, and just paste it right on. Then undo that. Let's copy, paste it right underneath there. Dots, grid. There we go. So that's the very first one. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste another one there. exactly the same thing. But the difference is I'm now going to change the color of one of them. Okay, I'm going to, I was meant to enter a column in there. All right, so I'm going to run that up. Let's come in here and just say root, that is equal tk. There we go. And the up itself, I can just say up, or that will be equals calculator, this one. So let's grab hold of this, and this calculator is a child of the root. And underneath here, I'm going to now say root dot main loop. There we go. Enter parentheses. So I'm going to copy that. That should have been main 1, and this I'm just going to call it main 2, something like that. There we go. Come back here, run. There we go. Look at that. It's so small. The reason being because I took off the, or I did not enter the width. So I'm going to enter a width now. I'm going to say the width, I'm going to make that about 600. What about height? The height as well, I can make that about, first of all, let's just say height. That is going to be about 670. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing for the one right underneath here. Let's make this 605. Enter that in there. There we go. And paste this here. Now I also want to change the colors. This one should be, I'm going to make that powdered blue. Okay, let's run it and see. Run. There we go. Look at that. I won't be able to sort of like adjust it because I've restricted the user from able to adjust it. So we can always increase this anyway. And let's run it one more time. Just take it from there. Okay, very good. So I can also increase this very one. Make this about 7. Yeah, make that 700. Run, and let's see how that's gonna look like. There. And you can see the inner one, main 2, and the main 1. Right, so it's actually advisable I increase this as well. And let's just run. There we go, getting very close to what I want. And here, maybe make that 10. Run. There, look at that. Okay, now that the framework is ready, so take a good look at from the library that was called to my class initialize, then the properties of the calculator and the frame that I've added in there. Now I'm going to create something for a display. So right here I'm going to say self dot display label, and this label is going to be a child of this very one, mainframe 2. There we go. Now I'm going to specify width and height for this label. I'm going to make the width about maybe 30, and the height, that would be, let's say 2. Okay, and what is background? We can say BG, that will be white. BG, that equals white. And the font, I'm going to make the font an area. Font to be equals area. Comma, about 20, make that bold. And that takes care of that. That should be bold. There we go. I'm going to put a comma, and I want it anchored to the left. So I can come down here. Let's say anchor. That will be equals E. That's to the east. That's fine. So I'm going to run this up. Round up my display. Display dot grid, and that is going to be row will be equals 0, column will be equals 0 as well, and because it's going to be in 4 columns, so we can say column span, that is 4, and get it padded. X-axis, make that 10, and y-axis will be 10 as well, and get it padded. Y-axis will be 10. This should be a comma. This is Y. And there. Okay, I'm going to save and run. There we go. Look at that. That's my label right in there. So close that. Now that is taken care of. As you notice, the background is white, just like I specified in my code. Supposing background was not specified. Supposing. I just want to show you guys what's going to happen. I've cut that off, comment it out. Let's run it and see what's going to happen. Run. We end up with the default color, okay? And that's my reason for specifying white. So I'm going to undo, and there we go. Now that that is done, and I want to create something that will take in the value. I'll call it input. Okay. So it's more or less me defining the input variable. So in there you can just say defined input variable. So define the input variable or value of the variable. Value variable. So I'm going to start by saying self dot input underscore value, that is equals nothing for now. Okay, now that I've defined my variable, and now I want to define my buttons. Okay, these are the frames. I suppose you guys get that, and this is label. Now let's create some buttons. So right underneath there, I'm going to say self dot create underscore button, something like that. My very first button is going to be, I'm going to copy that from maybe Word document and just paste it in there. Okay, that's the very first one. So you can always go to Word. Let me show it to you guys. So open up Word, and let's go to Insert, and I need the symbol. All I need is just the arrow, this very one. There we go. I'm going to copy that. Now make sure that is copied. Okay, then come right in here and just paste it in there. That will be the arrow that will be on my button. So up here, I then specify is going to be on the very first row. Okay, and the column is going to be column 0. So I'm going to copy that. Just paste. Then the next one is going to be column 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I've just defined my very first row, and in here that will be CE. This will be C, and here that will be plus minus. So let's grab hold of a plus minus here as well. I'm going to go back in here, open it up, and let's grab hold of plus minus. It's right here somewhere. There we go. There. I'm going to copy that and paste it right in there. Copy and paste it in here. There we have plus minus. There, that is plus minus. That's the plus minus. Okay, the next one that we want to create now, that is going to be for the numbers. I'm going to copy all of these. That is for rule number 1. This is going to be rule number 2. Rule 2, this one will be 7, 8, 9, and here that will be the plus sign, and here this is 2. Rule 2, 2, and 2. So this is the reason why I'm creating this tutorial, because it's easier than the previous one that I created. It's very easy. You can see how the buttons are created. Compared to the previous one, you have to use loops and so on, which can be a bit confusing. All right, so that is that taken care of. This is the operator here, and this is a plus minus operator as well. If you want, you can put comment into them so that you don't get it mixed up. I'm going to copy this again. This will be for my column 3. So align it properly. Okay, this is 3. There we go. And in here, that will be 4, 5, 6. And the subtraction sign there. Now, after that, let's create another one. That will be for, we have 1, 2, 3. We need number 4 now. So come right down here, paste that. Oh, we need to change this. Oh, that operator is correct. Okay, come right here. This is 1, 2, 3, and here the operator for this, that can be multiplication sign, and here will be 4, 4, 4, and 4. There we go. 4. No, that should be 4, 4, 4. All right. So what's happening here is I'm actually arranging all of the buttons. How it's going to look like. The ones in 0 will all be in 0. The ones in 1 will be in 1. Okay, like we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, 4 columns. And the rows is going to be 5. So copy. In total, I have 5 rows. Now come down here. This will be 5. 5. And the 5 row, the first one here will be 0. Then we have the full stop or the decimal. Then we have the equal sign. And here we have division. There, that is it taken care of. So that is the arrangement of my buttons. Now let's put together a function to run this very button itself. Okay, this function is going to be called create button. So first of all, let's start by declaring the function, and we just call it create button. Now it's going to be self, comma, the text in there, that's, and the row, then the column. There we go. I've just defined the text, this one, the rows, which row they belong and which column they belong. That's what I've just done in here now. Okay, right underneath here, what is the name of your button? You can call that button. The choice is yours. So button, that is going to be button widget. And this button widget is going to be a child of this very frame here. Remember, frame number 2. Okay, mainframe 2, paste that in here. And mainframe 2, what text do we have in there? It's going to be text. Whatever text we have here should be what should be displayed in here. Comma. Now define the width. The width, I'm going to make that about 6, and the height, so comma, height, I'm going to make that, let's say 2. And what about the font? We can make the font about 20 as well. Grab all of these, come right down here, paste that there. That is the font. I'm going to press enter. Let's put a command here before we enter. And I'm going to then say border, make that about 4. That might be too wide, but we can always take care of that. And the background color for this button, maybe this. Yeah, why not? Or we could, no, if the background, we can change it to powdered blue. Powdered blue. Okay, let's see. Depends. If I don't like it, I'll change it. Background color is cadet blue. I can always change it. And then, and what about the command? The command in this case is the function called lambda. Let's just say equals lambda. And this lambda will actually work in conjunction with another function known as evaluate or eva, something like that. So it's called, so I'm going to say save dot button, that is the events button underscore click. And what are you looking for? The text. There we go. Now let's run this up. So I'm going to say button.grade. There, and that will be dot grade, and that's going to be, let's copy all of these. Oh, look here, that should be F. I wonder why that didn't change. Okay, I'm going to copy all of this. Yeah, why not? Come right down here. The role is going to be as follows. The role is going to be role. Okay, because I've already defined the role, this one. The role will be role. And column will be column. There we go. Get rid of this, we don't need that. Then the padding here will be 10, might be too much. I'm going to make it 5 by 5. There we go. Right. Okay. So with this, I should be able to run, and the buttons should be arranged in order. But first of all, there's a column missing there. And here, look at the spelling of width. That's wrong. And here, I have an open bracket. I was meant to close it here. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm fine now. So let's save and run. There we go. Look at that. Okay. I may have to reduce the size of this. That seems to be too wide. That's no problem. All right. That's good. Okay. Let's take care of the interface, the width. I don't like the way it looks like. I'm going to change this to 615 by 680. 680. Okay, let's run it and see again. Run. There we go. Look at it. Straight on board. All right. So now let's put together another function that button can call. This is the function right there. Okay. So with the function, I'm just going to grab hold of this. That is the function that I've called already in here. So let's come right here and just define our function. I'll paste that in there. That is the function, and this function is going to be housing the text here. So I'm just going to grab hold of that. Self comma text there. And now we're going to use an if statement to check what value we have in there starting from up here. So the very first one I'll deal with is this. Okay, well, I do need to use an if statement to do that. So I've copied that. I'll come down here, and using an if statement, if text equals the backspace. There we go. Then we now want the self.input, this very one, self.input value, that will be equal self.input value, square bracket, column, -1. There we go. That takes care of that. We also need to take care of the clear. Look at it. Clear entry. Okay, now let's take care of the CE here. So in here, I'm going to use else if. So copy this, paste that in here, and let's just change this one to CE. Okay, with that, we now want to clear the input. Self.input, and come right down here, paste, and we just clear it. There. And we need to repeat the same thing for the clear. Change this one to clear. There. All right, now the next one, and that is going to be the equals. Let's come right down here. So with the equals, change this to equal sign. Now with the equals, first of all, we need to just test this out and see what we have in there. So here, I'm just going to enter try as follows. Whatever we have in here, we make sure, first of all, it is string. And in that case, get it evaluated. And let's close this here. There we go. Else, just give us an error. Yeah, that'll do. Else, with the exception, then you just give us an error. Paste that in here and just ask it to display an error. There we go. Now, what about if it is plus minus? If it is plus minus, what do we want the system to do? I'm going to grab hold of this, paste that in there. If it's plus minus, let's copy plus minus somewhere right there. Copy that, paste it right in here. If it's a plus minus, we now want, I'm going to grab hold of all of this, paste that in here. In that case, that is going to be minus the float. Minus float of self.input underscore value. Else. Now come here and just enter an else statement here. Else, we want the following. input, self.input, get rid of this, that is equals, plus equals text, just display the text, and self dot display, that is the name of my label, dot config text, that is equals self dot input dot value. There, I think that is it. Let's see. Okay, let's try that out. Before that, here I'm missing, that's supposed to be self, and I'm missing semicolon column there. Let's run and save and run. There we go. First of all, let's check out the backspace. Backspace. Clear. And the other ones work. What about the plus minus? There we go. Let's multiply that by 9. There. Clear. Save. Divide that by 8. Plus whatever. And minus that. There we go. See that, guys? So you can see your calculator is working. Like I said, this is more easier. Okay, so let me show you guys the lines of code, then we can call it the end of this project. Import, create your class, define your interface, create frames, and then insert another frame, display, and define the position of each buttons. There they are. But you must have this as your variable that will take in the data. There they are. Define the position of your buttons. And in here, the function that will display the button on your system or on the frame. And here, that takes care of the equals for the calculation. And you'll end the program. And that's all, guys. So with that, I'm going to call it the end of this beautiful tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoy it. And please do subscribe to my channel. And you can also join to become a member of the channel. There are a lot of benefit for members, guys, believe me. So with that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. You all have a nice day now.